Why? Because all these leaders have other considerations other than the Earth atmosphere or the well-being of Earth. So climate change is actually global warming that has many impacts, from fires, like we are seeing millions of acres getting burned. And when these millions of acres burn, all these trees that are gone, that have been there for sometimes 1,000 years. In California, some trees have been there for 1,000, 2,000 years, and now, for the first time, they're burning. Which means there are less trees to take in carbon dioxide and put out oxygen. Less oxygen for us to breathe. You may say, well, I have air conditioning in the car, air conditioning in the house. It doesn't matter. I'm going to stay cool. Yeah, but you're not going to have oxygen to breathe. Okay, that's how it impacts you. Because more and more, this temperature is depleting the trees, the lungs of the earth, like in the Amazon and other places, because of fires. The fires that happen in the mountains in Algeria or in Turkey, they're not burning stone, they're burning trees, millions of trees, that it is hard to replace them. It takes many years to replace these big, adult trees. So we are actually in big trouble in two ways. One, those fires are increasing the burning and putting out more carbon dioxide and more energy into this pressure cooker, as well as it is depleting the number of trees that counterbalance this problem. So it's a double problem. What causes the global warming? Human activity. Thousands of politicians, they deny. They say, no, it's not human activity. This is a natural cycle of Earth. It warms up and cools down, and, there's an ice age, and then there is... No. The real scientists have demonstrated beyond a shadow of doubt that it is human activity that's responsible for this. The amount of pollutants that we put into the air, like each one of us, when you turn your car on, you are putting out stuff, okay? There is a burning going on in your engine, in your combustion engine, and there are gases coming out of the pipe into the atmosphere. When we see a truck, like a garbage truck that's diesel, is putting out dark, pollutants, we can see it with our own eyes. But make no mistake about it, we all do with our cars too. When we use fossil fuels, meaning fuels like oil, like gas, like diesel, like natural gas, like coal. These fossil fuels, they are carbon intensive. They produce a lot of carbon as byproduct of the burning process. So for the last 100 years, we have been using oil. And the last several hundred years, we have been using coal. And in some cities, like New Delhi, you can hardly breathe. In China, some cities you cannot breathe because there's so much pollutants that you'll have lung problems. Your children will not be able to breathe. I remember one time being in Los Angeles, and you cannot see the sun in the middle of the day. Why? Because there's so much pollutants in the air, the smog, that I was able to move my hand in the air, and I could see the place where my hand moved. where I removed with my hand, this smog. Your clothes, your nose, your ears, your hair, it all gets all this smog on it. That's how bad it is. Let alone when you want to breathe. You can't breathe. We are lucky here. We have more air moving, but there, the air coming from the Pacific Ocean is trapped because of the mountains, so you have like a cloud over the city because of millions of cars putting out this stuff. Factories produce much more smog, and yet there is very little regulation on it. Because these companies are powerful. They pay lobbyists and politicians to lobby Congress so they don't pass the necessary laws. Okay? And here we come to the why this problem continues. Because now we have China and India, Brazil, these big countries. China, 1.5 billion people. India, 1.4 billion people. Those people live in poverty, and they want to come out of poverty. They want the luxuries that we enjoy here in the United States. Everybody wants a car, a fridge, a washing machine, a TV. They want to produce. They want to make roads and highways and airports. All of that requires energy, requires more coal and more electricity produced from coal and more gasoline for the cars, more fuels. So these big countries now, they say to the world, rich countries, to Europe and the United States, you had your time to grow and get out of poverty. Now it's our time. So don't tell us what to do. That's why India and China didn't bother, or China, and Russia didn't bother to go to the meeting. Because they don't want to accept rules that impede their economic progress. So they want to continue to pollute at a larger scale. The problem will continue because there is no real punishment. Nobody can punish a country for polluting the air that we all use, polluting the water that we all use, and causing global warming. So number 3, what can be done by countries? A lot can be done if they are serious about the problem. They can pass laws to force companies to reduce their emissions. They can invest in technologies that will recycle the carbon and take it out of the air and trap it. They can put taxes on polluters, force them to reconsider their sources of energy, because every dollar or every penny for them matters. And they can pass laws that regardless where you produce your item, we're going to charge you the same way. Many American companies, they play this game. So instead of producing it in the United States, we will make the same car or washing machine in Mexico or in China or in Vietnam or South Korea. And that way, we don't have to take responsibility for polluting the air and causing all this climate change. That responsibility is shifted from rich countries back to poor countries, who manufacture and produce this in American factories, and they ship it back to America and to Europe to be used. And to ship it, you need ships that use a lot of fuel and planes that use a lot of fuel. So if your cell phone is produced in China, it will caused the same amount of pollution, but now it causes more pollution because it has to fly over to come to you across the world. So this game of, passing the problem to other countries needs to stop. What can we do as individuals? Because you are not a king or a president that you can make such a decision. But now the responsibility at our personal level. We vote for things with our purchasing power, with our dollars, with our unified work, talking about this, addressing this issue. So it is up to you to choose where the product is made and how much you would pay for it. So buy what you need, not what you want. There are many things you don't really need, but because they market them to us, we spend our dollars and buy them. You can instead take that money and help buy food and buy, drinkable water for poor people, poor Muslims around the world. So you have to resist responding to the marketing, the ads that constantly tell you, you want this, this is good for you. And ask yourself, do I really need it or not? And what else can I do with my money other than become materialistic and buy this and buy this and buy this and fill the house with junk that I don't use? Go look in your house, in your closets, and ask yourself, do I really need all these clothes and all these shoes and all of these gadgets? Probably not. I'm sure when you were born and when you grew up as a kid, your parents didn't have all of this. They had few things they needed. But now we just keep buying. We have to always buy, push the button. They made the buying process very easy. We don't have to think about it. We just order it. They deliver it. We don't think that shipping and delivery to your door actually costs money and hurts the environment every time that Amazon truck comes to your door, or FedEx or UPS. So we are participants in this problem. We are not innocent bystanders. We are actually the consumers who cause this process to happen. Collectively, we can change the behavior of companies when we say, no, your product is not needed. It's nice luxury, but there are human beings who are dying out of droughts. This week, our Imam in Kenya, he sent me pictures of animals who are dead. He said, there's a drought, rain hasn't come, and animals and people are dying. Here we don't see it. We have plenty of rain, alhamdulillah, today, all day. And some of us complain, we have too much rain. We should say, alhamdulillah, we have rain. Because there are other countries, they don't have water to drink, and they don't have, water for their animals. So their animals die. That's their source of milk and cheese and meat. And their land is dry, so whatever trees they had or plants, that dies too. That's across the Horn of Africa. That's across the Middle East, across many Muslim countries. Look on Google Maps and you see this yellow dry patch from Morocco to China, all where Muslims live. Because we don't go out and plant trees.